My name is Arnold Zable. I live in Melbourne. I'm a writer, storyteller and human rights advocate. When the pandemic took hold in Melbourne in March 2020, I began a series of posts titled What We Do in the Time of the Plague. Many posts revolved around my walks by the river, the Yarra, or as the Wurundjeri people have called it for millennia, the Birrarung, River of Mists. Here are two of the posts, written 7 months apart. Together they recount a tale of embraces and prisons. May 6th, 2020. The river is rising, the morning sun lights the water in a blaze of silvers. The world has been washed clean by the recent deluge. I walk the paths I know so well, but something is nagging me. I call Farhad Bandesh. He is imprisoned in Maita, an immigration detention centre, where he was recently moved from the Mantra Hotel in Preston, from one prison to another, for a man who has committed no crime. It is 7 years since Farhad was exiled on Manus Island, apprehended en route to Australia by boat in search of asylum, and 10 months since he was transferred to Melbourne for medical treatment, and instead locked in a hotel where many of the Medivac men remain imprisoned. Pre-pandemic, I'd meet him, escorted by security guards to the visitors' room. We greeted each other with a hug, and after the permitted hour, farewelled each other with a hug. Due to COVID restrictions, the visits are no longer possible, but this morning, Farhad walks with me. My phone is his eye on the world beyond the prison. I take him down to the banks and pan across the river. The currents are whipped by the winds. The eucalypts are swaying. Over the months, we have talked of many things. Farhad has told me of his time as a young boy making his way to the mountains in Ilam province, western Iran, Kurdistan, to collect wild pistachios. He has told me of how he made arak, a spirit distilled from dates and raisins, and of the house he designed and began building in his parents' village. He laid the foundations and constructed the walls before he left his homeland. It was finished by his brothers. His parents now shelter there as Iran deals with the virus. He has told me of his work with Kurdish artists, songwriters and poets, the life he led before he embarked on his search for freedom. 7 years later, he is still in search of freedom. The city so close, but denied him. He is deeply offended by the injustice. I have not committed any crime, he says. Why am I still in prison? Farhad is a creative tour de force, artist, singer, songwriter, fearless advocate, unafraid to speak up on behalf of his inmates. He cannot remain silent, and he is stoic. They will never break me, he says. Don't worry, I am a lion. Yes, he is strong, but he sounds weary. The men are petrified by the virus and re-traumatized by their indefinite limbo. I worry for them and for Farhad, his health and safety. He no longer has his paints and brushes. They were confiscated on his transfer to Maita, but Farhad is a resistor. His spirit is irrepressible. Meanwhile, we walk by the river and for a moment at least, All is reduced to wild currents hurtling downstream, a glimpse of beauty on yet another unjust day spent in prison. December 11th, 2020, mid-morning, I receive a call from Farhad. The prison manager has told him to pack his bags. He is being released, just like that, on his 40th birthday. He's been detained since he was 32, robbed of the prime years of his life. Now, abruptly, without notice, he is to be freed, albeit on a temporary visa. I drive to Maita. Farhad is somewhere inside, behind the cyclone wire, going through the release procedures. It is surreal. There's an air of suburban normality, a stillness. Prison vans are coming and going, security guards moving about their business. Suddenly, Farhad walks out, his few possessions wheeled on a trolley. There is nothing more precious than watching an innocent man walk free. It's a moment I will cherish for the rest of my life. Farhad, after 8 years in hell, stepping out, guitar in hand, under blue skies, on his birthday. He is standing before me, no longer staring at an elusive world beyond the prison. We hug. We hug. We hug.